It's Tur
Tuesday.
And Tur Tuesday is really wet. Once again,
It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday, it's December, and instead of snow, oh boy, bumpy road. Instead of snow, it is rain. Wet.
We're hoping
wet,
2018 is going to change how Tuesdays are.
Yeah, we're hoping that every Tuesday is sunny and happy and all that good stuff.
We have a different camera today.
Yes.
Because
I forgot to charge the GoPro. That's basically what it.
So we're using a selfie stick with his phone.
Yes.
So you're going to be a little
You're
wobbly.
gonna be a little wobbly today.
But we're still bringing you towards.
So we have a question this week.
Oh, another question.
We do.
We like
Actually,
questions.
we've been doing well with questions. A lot of people have been asking, what is the difference between listing representative, a buyer representative, and then multiple representation, and that how that works. So do you want to take that one, or do you want to?
So there's three main kinds of representation, and there is a fourth, which is customer service. But mainly you see the listing, the buying, and the multiple rep. So listing representation is where the company and the realtor are representing you. Buyer representative is where the company and the realtor is representing the buyer. And the multiple representation is when it's the same company doing the representation of both the buyer and seller, and or the same realtor representing both the buyer and the seller.
And that's a key point there, right? Because in our area, because Royal LePage has such a large market share, you can have two realtors, both at Royal LePage Pro Alliance, representing two different people, but it is still considered multiple representation because the representation sits with the brokerage, not the sales representative.
That's right. So we call it multiple representation with secrets kept. If we know what the seller's lowest number is that they're going to sell for, we don't divulge that unless they ask us to. And if and the same goes the other way. If we know the highest value that the buyer is willing to pay, we don't divulge that unless they ask us to. We just go back and forth on the offer a little bit more. And we see that a lot. We see a lot of going back. I had that question too the other day. How many times is too many times to go back and forth on an offer? There's not too many times. It could be the one time you bring the offer, or it could be 3 or 4 times. Just it depends on where the buyer and seller's minds are at.
Yeah.
A lot of people lately have been saying they want to deal only with the listing agent on a home.
Right.
And you have to be a little bit careful with that, because you may not be getting representation. If you don't sign a buyer's rep, then you're actually a customer, as I mentioned earlier. You're not a client. And so as a customer, you are told if there's something detrimental to the home, but you're not privy to other information that your buyer's rep could otherwise find for you. There's a lot of detail in that, so we're not going to go into that today. Please call us. We're more than happy to answer those questions.
To answer in detail.
But it'll make the video too long.
But a lot of people don't understand that.
They
think that dealing just with the listing representative might be the better way to go. And
that was me dropping my tea all down my face. Apparently that was a little sideways on my cup.
And don't get us wrong, we love the fact that as a listing agent you want to come and you want to talk to us and deal with us, but understand that our allegiance as a listing agent is to the seller. And what a lot of people don't understand is if they don't sign a buyer's representation, even with a buyer buyer real estate agent, they still don't have representation.
You need to sign the buyer's rep.
Yeah.
Now, if you're listed, if you're dealing with the listing agent and you do sign a buyer's rep, now it becomes multiple representation.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And it is the agent's responsibility at that point in time
Explain those
to
differences.
explain those differences and do their best to represent both of you in the transaction. If you have questions about this, because I know it's a little bit confusing for a lot of people, and
well, and some people think that going with the listing agent, didn't mean to cut you off
no,
there.
that's okay.
But some people think going with the listing agent, they're all of a sudden going to get cheaper discount on commission and stuff like that. The commission's already negotiated with the seller at that point. So the changing of the commission when that comes is very seldom.
Yeah, and there's actually some fairly stiff rules on how that can change, if it even can change after the fact.
If you're a multiple offer situation in that's out the window. Like there's just so many other things. It's tightening up. It's changing a lot.
So there's a little bit of a myth going around there that that'll have that impact. when in reality it really can't and
Yeah.
shouldn't be.
It's an old
happening that
myth.
way.
It used to.
It used to, yeah. It's been sitting around
Not
for
an
a lot
old
of
myth,
time.
an old reality.
And every so often we see this come back out where some guru is talking about it and they give this advice to people, and it's easy for people to jump on board because it seems to make sense with the way they explain it. But when you're selling, 50 to 70 homes a year and doing that for 15 years, you have a better understanding of how those mechanics work than when you're selling 1 or 2 homes. So we were at the Quinte Mall the other day,
Yes.
and we got this.
What's that?
I'm gonna try and get it close enough for you. We got this. I don't know if you.
No, all you can see is white.
I know,
There.
just here. Bear with me. Anyway, the Belleville police had dropped it off, and it has all these tips about whether you should lock your door and whether you should leave your vehicle running, and because Christmas time, a lot of cars get broken into, so they're going around and checking out, and it has this little check box
That they did for us.
that they did for us.
And they said whether or not we passed or failed.
They passed or failed, and it's really cute. So we passed. We got vehicle lock, keys removed, windows closed, valuables out of sight. Congratulations. So thank you, Belleville Police Services.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, that was really awesome. We were really
Because
happy to see
one,
that.
it means that they're going around and they are checking and they are watching. So we really appreciate that.
Yeah, we really appreciate
But two, this is a really good helpful hint in reminding people. It's tough, right? We have all kinds of organizations and that are trying to help people that need help at this time of year especially. But some people do get a little desperate, and we do see a little bit more break-ins, which we've already started to see a
that.
bit.
Yeah, we've already seen.
Yeah.
It.
So thank you, Belleville Police, for
Yes.
keeping an eye on
Appreciate
us.
it. Very
And
cool.
thank you even more for giving Team TaraLyons
Thumbs
day.
up. Awesome. Okay, I think that's about it.
So we do have River with us.
We
as
have
you can
River.
see.
There she is.
Yes,
Say hi,
she's
River.
So excited on this rainy wet day. She's went now.
Busy watching the kids as we talk.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, Church Tuesday
Okay, out.
out.
Sweet